we are starting a new character series with Frog and Toad. I know you read or heard some stories of Frog and Toad when you were doing your music concert. So some of it might be familiar, some of it might be new. What I'd like to do is really get into the characters and do a little character study, kind of like what we did with Peter and Willie. So as I'm reading, you're going to be paying attention to the characters, Frog and Toad, what they're like, how their inside character traits are and what their outside character traits are, the problem that they have and how they fix their problems if they have one, the setting, but also paying attention to how and when the characters are talking, some of the words that they might say that let us know that it's the character talking, and also when it's the narrator. Remember, the narrator just gives us the background information and all the stuff that the characters don't say. Again, you know a character's talking because of the quotation marks. Quotation marks are very important. So we're starting with the Frog and Toad, our friends, and the chapters don't necessarily go in order, so you don't have to hear one to do the other, but I'm going to start with spring. Seems kind of fitting because it's springtime. So here we go. Spring, Frog and Toad. Frog ran up the path to Toad's house. He knocked on the front door. There was no answer. "Toad! Toad!" shouted Frog. "Wake up! It is spring." "Blah!" said a voice from inside the house. "Toad! Toad!" cried Frog. "The sun is shining! The snow is melting! Wake up!" "I am not here," said the voice. Frog walked into the house. It was dark. All the shutters were closed. "Toad, where are you?" called Frog. "Go away," said the voice from a corner of the room. Toad was lying in bed. He had pulled all the covers over his head. Frog pushed Toad out of bed. He pushed him out of the house and onto the front porch. Toad blinked in the bright sun. "Help!" said Toad. "I cannot see anything." So, what are some things we know about Frog? Frog is very happy spring is here. He is up and at 'em, so he's a go-getter. He likes being outside because he's pushing his friend out. He likes to be doing things. We would say that Frog is adventurous. What do we know about Toad? Toad, not so adventurous. He likes to be at home in his bed. He likes to sleep. He likes to have it nice and dark, kind of like Mole. He likes to not do a whole lot of things, and he's not very adventurous so far. "Don't be silly," said Frog. "What you see is the clear, warm light of April, and it means that we can begin a whole new year together, Toad." "Think of it," said Frog. "We will skip through the meadows and run through the woods and swim in the river. In the evening we will sit right here on this front porch and count the stars." "You can count them, Frog," said Toad. "I will be too tired. I am going back to bed." Toad went back into the house. He got into the bed and pulled the covers over his head again. "But Toad," cried Frog, "you will miss all the fun." "Listen, Frog," said Toad. "How long have I been asleep?" "You have been asleep since November," said Frog. "Well then," said Toad, "a little more sleep will not hurt me. Come back again and wake me up about 1/2 May. Good night, Frog." "But Toad," said Frog. "I will be lonely until then." Toad did not answer. He had fallen asleep. Frog looked at Toad's calendar. The November page was still on top. Frog tore off the November page. He tore off the December page, and the January page, and the February page, and the March page. He came to the April page. Frog tore off the April page too. Remember, it's still April with Frog and Toad. Then Frog ran back to Toad's bed. "Toad, Toad, wake up! It is May now." "What?" said Toad. "Can it be May so soon?" "Yes," said Frog. "Look at your calendar." Toad looked at the calendar. The May page was on top. "Why, it is May," said Toad as he climbed out of bed. Then he and Frog ran outside to see how the world was looking in the spring. So, do you think that Frog was being a good friend by cheating the calendar and telling Toad that it was May? Was he being a good friend? Or was he being a mischievous friend? You'll have to let me know.